right, Coach, you take a look at this Carroll team. I mean, you really, on the road last week, jumped out, played a great first quarter, and then ended up, with a lopsided win. How do you carry that momentum over to this week where the level of competition gets ratcheted up even more so as you go along in the playoffs?
Yeah, we continue to talk about, you got to be, great in the moment. You got to concern yourself with only the day in hand. But you've got to elevate your play every week within the playoffs, and we talk about that too. Week one in the playoffs is just that, and it's done. I mean, on to more difficult things. I always look at that semifinal game for the sectionals is, if you win that, I mean, it's really no big deal unless you follow it up, and you win the sectional. And so that's our task at hand. I mean, we want to, and have to play at a high level because they're a very good football team, and they require that, out of us if we want to be successful.
What are you looking to sharpen up in practice this week, and what do you carry over from that first meeting against Northrop that you learned and can apply this time around?
I think it's not rocket science here. I mean, it's football, and you've got to be physical up front. You've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. We want to be able to run the ball. Obviously we like to throw it around. On both sides of the ball, we got to win the line of scrimmage. We've got to get pressure on the quarterback. We've got to defend the run. We got to understand all the formations. It's very basic stuff. We've got to win the turnover battle. And since week 7, we have been outstanding. Creating turnovers. Prior to week 7, we were very mediocre. But the players have made a choice and they have turned it around. And that's a big indicator within who's going to win the game. So we've got to do those things. We got to create turnovers. We got to take care of the ball. We got to win the line of scrimmage. We got to make a difference in special teams.
What are some of the things about Northrop that concern you, and what are some of the things you have to do well to limit their strengths on Friday?
Well, it's without question. I mean, it's very glaring. I mean, their receiver core is very talented, very fast. Quarterback gets rid of the ball. Understands the coverages and obviously looks for those guys. And their offensive line takes care of him to where, he can scramble, he can get outside, and they have had success running the football. Defensively, they've got a load of athletes, that cover very well. We've got to be able to exploit, any matchups that we happen to get, and we've got to control the box, and we've got to be able to run the football.
When you take a look at this game, it's going to be our Highlight Zone game of the week. It's for a sectional championship. A lot of eyeballs on this game. It was a great game, a long game the first time around. But what are you most looking forward to about this opportunity for this Carroll football program and what it's going to be like atmosphere-wise on Friday night here?
Yeah, I mean, it's 6A football. I mean, you're playing for a championship, the first championship in the tournament. That's exciting. You're at home. That's exciting. Just the opportunity, to be out, to play, to be together, to continue to, possibly, take care of your future and be able to continue to play in the tournament.
Anything else you'd like to add, Coach?
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.